Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Gujarat Industries Power Company Limited Q4 FY21 post-results conference call hosted by ICICI Securities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rahul Modi from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aisha. On behalf of ICICI Securities, I welcome you all to the earnings call of GIPCL for 4Q and FY21 results. From the management, we have Mr. K.K. Bhatt, General Manager and CFO, Mr. S.N. Purohit, Chief General Manager, Renewable Energy and Business Operations, Mr. A.S. Thakkar, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer, and other senior officials from the management. I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Bhatt for his initial remarks and to take us through how GIPCL looks forward in the journey of renewables which they have taken up. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, all the shareholders and Mr. Rahul. Basically, the company Gujarat Industries Power Company incorporated in the year 1985 and started its journey in 1993 with the first commissioning of 145 megawatt gas-based station. Thereafter, in the year 1996, when the liberalization came into picture, PPA-based gas-based station 165 megawatt was initiated, and 1998 we have commissioned 165 megawatt gas-based station. Simultaneously, the government of Gujarat gave us the land lease for lignite-based station at Surat, and GIPCL took the challenge and established 250 megawatt lignite-based station in the year 2000. Thereafter, further expansion took place for 250 megawatt at the same location with the lignite as a fuel. Further, in the year 2014-15 onward, GIPCL looked forward and taken the initiative in the RE. And the RE, in the RE penetrated, GIPCL established its foot through wind and solar, this RE section simultaneously. That is 112 megawatt of wind division was commissioned. 162 solar we got commissioned as of now, and 100 megawatt is in pipeline. Further to that, I would like to add upon, GIPCL has been awarded the land of around 2375 megawatt capacity to be built up at Khavda, that is 30 gigawatt solar park, being inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the month of December 2020, wherein GIPCL has been allotted the 2375 megawatt capacity to be built up over there over a period of 6 years, that is through the RE solar or wind, that is hybrid park. So this is the future plan and journey which GIPCL is looking forward. We are ready for the question and answer session on the financial for the year 2021.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, sir. So I have 3 questions. First, So what was the availability of your Surat Lignite Power Plant in FY21? And also if you can share the FY20 numbers. If you can share for all the power plants, it will be helpful.
See, basically, all these informations are available on the website. But since you have raised the query, let me give you the details. The SLBP 1 commercial availability is for the current financial year 2021 is 60.98. Previous year it was 73.53. SLBP 2 is having the commercial availability of 79.76. Previous year it was 80.44.
Okay, understood. So what is the fixed cost under recovery in FY21?
The under recovery in FY21 regarding SLPP 1 is around 19 to 20 crore, which is going to be recovered through the insurance for Unit 2, which is under shutdown, and maintenance for economizer beam replacement, which is already in process. So for that, we have already lodged the insurance claim, but the accounting is being done on the basis of admittance of the insurance claim. So as and when it will be admitted, the income will be booked in that particular loss of profit.
So, sir, what was the main reason for decline in profit from FY21 compared to FY22?
And regarding 20 and 21, you must be.
20 and 21, yeah. It was 248 crore, I believe, for FY22.
There are two reasons. One is the under recovery of fixed cost of SLPP 1, which I have already conveyed. That is around 19 to 20 crore. And another factor is the wind division, wherein due to wind velocity, we have lost almost 18 to 19 crore of revenue current year. Even though machines were available above 95%, but the wind pattern has slightly changed in the current year, which has resulted into a downfall of around 4 to 5% in the wind division.
Understood, sir. And my last question, sir, on the Khavda 2375 megawatt, how are you going to monetize this asset, and what will be the probable business model for us in terms of revenue? And what is the timeline?
Basically a greenfield project, wherein GIPCL is being allotted the land. For first phase development, you have to do is the RE park. We have to prepare the RE park. That is the first requirement from the point of view of the government certification. If once we are through with the RE park development, that is all the facility has to be developed in the park. Thereafter, we will go with the allotment of plots, and that plot size will be auctioned through GUVNL and SECI tender process. So whosoever bids the lowest, unlike the SECI and GUVNL does as of now, it will be that land will be allotted to them in that particular park, wherein we will be getting the UDC charge, upfront development charge, as well as the O&M charge with some our protected. That is the one model. Second model, we will be putting our own project also in the park as a project developer, sizing around 50 to 70%. We are thinking to put the solar projects in our own park only. It is around 1,600 to 1,500 we would be targeting in the next 6 years in phase manner. We will be placing that project, solar project in our park only as a project developer also.
So what is the CapEx requirement for developing this land? Overall CapEx?
For the development of the project, capex would be around 700 to hovering between 700 to 800 crore, not more than that.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Apurva Bahadur from Investec. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So I wanted to understand on this Khavda project. So basically the own capacity that we're going to develop is 1.5 to 1.6 gigawatts. How do we plan to sort of phase this out? Will this come up in one phase or in multiple phases? And also, what will be models, or will we be participating in auctions and winning the bids and then putting this up, or it will be more like for supply to CNI? If you could throw some light on this, please.
See, basically, Khavda project is 30 gigawatt project, wherein so many developers have been awarded the land. NTPC, GSEC, GIPCL, Suzlon, Adani. We have been allotted 2375 megawatt, around 4,500 hectares. 4750 hectare land has been allotted, wherein we have to develop 2375 megawatt of the solar. Now, this is going to be developed as per the government requirement in a phase of 6 years. 3 years in the first phase, that is 2024 December, 50%, and thereafter balance 3 years, 50%. 2 years. 2026. By December 2026. 3 years, 50%, and thereafter 2 years, balance 50%. Capacity has to be developed. See, once we are ready through the RE park, then we will go through the auction bidding of the plots through GUNL or SECI tender. As per the requirement at that point of time, that will be decided.
Okay. And sir, do we intend to do the EPC work for our own capacity, or do we intend to outsource it?
See, we would go for 1,500 to 1,600 projects in our own park. That is our basic target. But see, we will go with the EPC contractor to adhere the timeline of the project. So basically, we have already done three to four projects through the EPC mode. I think that would be a better mode to go with the EPC. I think.
Okay, sir. Got it. And how do we intend to fund this? This 1,500 to 1,600 megawatts?
The funding would be in a span of 5 to 6 years we have to do. We will be going, as of now, 70-30 equity debt.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Swati Jawar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much for organizing this call for the investors. We happen to go through the working that was published recently. Our view is that the company has done well during these last few years. It's almost net debt free, even after doing the capex for around 272 metric watts, along with 500 MV of lignite power project. Right. The company is also paying regular dividends with excellent net worth of around 3,000 CR with large depreciation benefits. But still, the matter of concern for us investors is its poor market capitalization. So I would, the company is definitely growing asset-wise, but the shareholders are not able to unlock the value. I would like to understand what steps the management is actually taking to improve this. As we see that there's a healthy book value of approximately 195, and one of the options could be to buy back, as the other companies are doing. And it's been a long wait for us, and we are heavily invested in the company, so we definitely need your guidance on this.
Basically, what you are saying is correct. The book value is 195 to 196, but basically shareholding pattern of the company is around 55% is with the promoters. The state government undertaking and the other institutions are holding around 20%, 25. So 75% is being held by the promoters, state government and the institution. Publicly it is available only 21%. But as you rightly said, we have started call and all these things so that the investors are aware about the company's growth plan, development, what we are doing in the next future development of the company, what projects are being taken by the company for the development. All these things we would like to share with the shareholders. So it will definitely add to the value in the market.
Right, absolutely. I mean, that will help probably a bit of transparency. Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anshu Goyal from Origin Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. My first question is, do you have any plans to do any solar other than this Khavda plant project? And the second would be, you mentioned that you want to do around 1500 megawatt here. Do you have a right of first refusal or you have to bid it by a bid? And so what if other people bid lower than you and you're not able to do that 1500 megawatt?
Your questions are not clear, but what I have understood, presently we have one of 100 megawatts that is going on. It is likely to be commissioned by the end of this month. Okay. And the second future plan is the Khavda project, that is 2375 megawatt project. It is to be developed in a span of 5 years, 3 plus 2, 50% in the first 3 years and 50% in the balance 2 years. See, basically it is a barren greenfield project. Initially we have to develop the park, infrastructure, water, everything, evacuation, everything has to be developed. Then we will be looking at the plot size as may be required for bidding process through open through GUNL. That is the process for getting the best tariff to the state.
No, my question is, if the process is through bidding, what if you're not the lowest cost bidder? Do you have a right of first refusal and can you still develop the 1500 megawatt if other people bid lower than you?
Basically, this modality is still to be decided. We have the dialogue going on with GUNL, how this modality will work. GIPCL putting capacity in their own park, and how the pricing of the pricing and tariff would be determined. That all these modalities are being discussed with the GUNL at a length. So there would be some mechanism to find out best tariff which suits to GIPCL as well as to GUNL. That will be decided in due course of time.
And given the fact that you're focusing on the Khavda project, going forward, other than this project, you will not be doing any other solar capex?
See, as of now, we don't have any project as of now in our mind. But I can't say that we will not go if any new project is coming up, and if it is challenging and good one, we can think of for taking that challenge also. But as of now, there is nothing in the pipeline.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akhilesh Bhandari from ICICI Prudential Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, thank you for taking my questions. The first question is on what is the Surat plant's normative availability level which allows us to completely recover the fixed cost?
This SLPP 1 is 75% and SLPP 2 is 80%.
Okay. So then, coming to the Khavda Park, I understand that around 30 to 40% you might lease out to other developers. For that portion, and you will be getting a developer fee and O&M fee. Do you have any particular ROE in mind which you will be making on the capex which you will be doing for that portion?
See, as per the MNRE guideline, project park developer can. We will be looking near to that particular figure, which is as per the MNRE guideline prevailing as of now.
I'm sorry, your voice, I lost you in the middle. Can you please repeat what number you mentioned, what according to MNRE guideline?
See, as per the MNRE guideline, project, RE park developer is supposed to get the ROE up to 16%. So we will be targeting within that range only as of now.
Okay. So then, in FY21, our receivable level has gone up from around 50 odd days to around 81 days. So any timeline for when we expect this to normalize?
Pardon, I could not get you.
Sir, your receivable level has gone up in FY21 and the receivable days are around 81 days versus 51 days last year in FY20. Any particular timeline by when we expect the receivable
nothing
level
like
to
that.
normalize?
Basically, we are PPA driven. So Surat Lignite Power Station and the Baroda Station. See, basically, as per the PPA, we have to build this lignite pricing through debit or credit notes. We generally charge the provisional lignite as per the previous year lignite price during the whole financial year. At the year end, we have to calculate the actual lignite price after the end of the year and closure of the books. And whatever is the lignite price actually comes, if it is higher than the previous what has been charged as a provisional, we have to bill GUNL for that particular differential amount as per the PPA through debit note. This year, this debit note is around 30 crore and there is a MAT recovery debit note of around 15 to 16 crore. So that all goes 45 to 50 crore. And there is the previous year there was a credit note of 20 crore. And second thing is that this year the lignite price has gone up basically due to usage of imported coal in the production. So these are the main factors, plus the requirement of our promoters has gone up in the month of February, March because of the production by them. So the demand from the promoters was on a higher side as compared to previous year, wherein we have billed around 15 to 17 crore more as compared to previous year to our promoters in the month of March also. These are the 3-4 factors which has resulted into the higher receivable as compared to previous year. Nothing like number of days what you are calculating. It is within the 90 days, all the receivables. Okay.
Sir, and what you mentioned, the debit note of 30 crore and 15 to 16 crore, has that been approved by GUVNL or that is currently a...
It is a standard practice, has been approved. See, it is every year it is a standard practice. If I have to charge provisional, let's say 1,000 rupees lignite price. Year end, if the actual lignite price comes 1,100, I have to raise a debit note of 100.
We request the participants to please stay connected as the line for the management got disconnected. Thank you for patiently waiting. We have the management reconnected, so you can go ahead, please.
Sir, you were explaining about the credit note.
Suppose I have billed current year with 1,000 rupees per metric ton. At the year end, if the actual cost works out 1,100, I have to of differential amount 100 rupees multiplied by the metric ton which has been consumed, which is available in the billing of 12 months. So accordingly, they verify the documents and they pay that particular debit note. So this is a normal practice. Every year it goes on, and the GUVNL pays to us well within the stipulated timeline. Most probably it has approved, and now I think we will be getting the payment within a short period.
Sir, and what is the timeline for commissioning of the 100 megawatt project which is under construction?
It is by the end of June it will get commissioned.
Sir, and till now for our operational renewable capacity, I understand that FY21 was an aberration for the wind plants because of lower wind speed. But so far, how has the PLF performance for the solar and wind plants been as compared to the P75 or the P50 level?
Basically, we generally do our calculation, not P75 or P80, P90 only, and on that basis we have done our working and evaluation. But last year we got the CUF of around 21%, as against the previous year it was 26.55.
Okay. Sir, and what is the P90 level for this particular plant?
P90 level is in
23.4.
23.4.
Sir, if you see overall, India also wind velocity is quite low last year. So compared to our previous year, last year wind velocity is totally down by 6 to 8% all over India, and in particular zone also it is down. So in spite of our good availability, we are not able to generate total wind resource wind plants.
Sir, and if you can also help me with the data for the solar plant for the last 2 years and the P90 level, that would be really helpful.
Yes, solar, there is nothing like P90 or something like that. It is based on the radiation level at that particular zone. So basically, we are getting around 22% CUF continuously in the last three years.
Sir, and is this 22% in line with what was your expectation at the time of bidding, or higher or lower? How has that been?
Last year it was higher, sir, slightly higher.
So it is better than our expectation and the budget. See, basically, what is happening, we have 3-4 solar plants, wherein we have recently commissioned 2-3 stations are giving good one, and the old 5 megawatt and 1 megawatt, which are around 4 or 5 years old, they are not giving the CUF
1 to 1
because the capacity is 1 to 1 DC. So wherein we are getting slightly less CUF, but the new capacity addition, that is 75 megawatt, 1 year down the line, we have received around 23.72, which is continuously we are getting last 2 years. 40 megawatt, which is having lesser DC capacity than this 75, wherein we are getting 21.70 continuously last 3 years CUF. So this is the expected performance performance is better than expectation.
Okay. Sir, and what was the utilization of second unit of Vadodara gas plant, which runs on an as and when required basis in FY21, and how was that as compared to FY20? And also, how do you see the utilization shaping up going forward?
Basically, this station PPA got expired in the year 2016. So wherein we have recovered the full fixed cost from GUVNL as per the terms of PPA. Okay. Now GUVNL has entered into an PPA with us for 5 years short-term PPA on as and when requirement basis. This station runs as per the requirement of the grid, as per the requirement of C and GUVNL. During the demand requirement, they raise an request and we run the station according to the requirement. That's all.
So what was the PLF, sir, for unit 1, for second unit? In
PLF
FY20?
always will be less, around 2 to 3%, because we are running this station on as and when requirement basis. So this is only, we are fulfilling the requirement of the grid. That's all.
Sir, and what is the rate at which the power is being sold? Is it at the marginal cost or
No. Generally, this power is being sold with the variable cost on actual basis recovery plus certain O&M we are recovering. So that is the cost. But cost of this fuel is very high because we have to inject the gas, the spot gas, which is slightly costly. So that is the reason the per unit cost goes up. But the FLDC raise and requirement during the peak requirement to run the station sometimes.
Sir, I will just give you the brief how the modality of this station is. So, for example, if my variable cost because of the gas for this month is ₹6, for example, I am for 6 per unit. So we add to our O&M cost to that, and we offer to the GUVNL for the purchase. If they want power at that rate during the period, then they will give us the scheduling, and they take the power in case of any grid requirement. This is the just modality.
Got it. Thank you, sir. I'll get back in the queue.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pavan Nahar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhatt.
Thank you, Pavan.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is, in FY21, we made an EBITDA of 446 crores. Of this, how much would be lignite and mines? Ballpark.
Just a minute.
In the meantime, I think a lot of investors are not aware that the plant performance data is already there on the website.
The EBITDA of the power thermal station altogether is around 290, and the renewable section, it is around 190, you can say.
Okay. That makes it like 480.
You add it 190 and 290 roughly, and 190. It is 480.
Sir, अपना EBITDA तो 446 crores है.
No, it is what I am telling is the figure. I am having this figure.
Okay, so that means that the balance number will be like unallocated cost or something like that.
No. See, the thing is unallocated. See, I am having the figures in front of me. It is correct figure. 180 is.
I think इसमें other income add कर लिया आपने, तब हो जाएगा 470.
मतलब I have added the income before the depreciation and interest. This figure I am telling about this.
Yes, I got it. So this 30 crores other income I should remove from the lignite side, right?
ठीक है, that you can remove.
Yeah, so 260 and 190. That makes it like 450. Okay. The next question I wanted to ask you was this 190, and before that, like depreciation, how much was the depreciation for lignite and mines in FY21, and how much will that be in FY22, given that the debt repayment period is over for Surat 1 and 2?
The depreciation is for thermal station would be, it is 80 crores.
Okay.
For the financial year 2021.
And how much will that drop to in FY22?
I think station
30
wise
crore?
I don't have, but if you look at the 80 plus 80, 160 is the total depreciation. Against that depreciation for the financial year 21-22 would be around
50 crores drop होगा ना, आपने ballpark बोला है पहले.
1 minute.
Just on lignite side.
Four. What is the depreciation? Just a minute, huh?
Sure.
21-22 budget में कर लो.
Only for lignite and mines, sir, because both the new solar will get added separately. In the meantime, can I continue, Bhatt, with the next question?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Depreciation.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, total depreciation FY 21-22 would be thermal station, that is SLBP 56 crore.
Okay, so 24 crores drop. Got it. Okay. The other question I had was, we've got 290 crores ballpark CWIP right now as on March, and loans and advances has gone up by 100 crores. So most of that would be advances for the projects only, right?
Basically, we have given Tata Power advances for the project 10% initially. That is lying in the advance, I think so. That is the reason this mismatch. Maybe what you are seeing in the capex and the cash.
No, that's fine. What's up? So basically 290 plus 100 crores is what including loans and advances, right?
Correct.
For projects which money already gone out. Okay.
Yes.
Then the other question I wanted to ask you was, this 100 megawatts which is getting commissioned, the cost will be about 500 crores, and it has 50% extra DC capacity, so 150 megawatts. Right? Okay. And इसमें कितना PLF गिनना है हमें? 100 megawatts या 150 पे?
29% in the Radhanesar.
29.12.
29.12.
On 100 megawatts.
Correct.
Okay, 29.12. Now, generally when we are bidding for these new projects, like what is the kind of IRR or payback? One, basis our existing projects, like, we assume some number, the numbers are coming out. So what would that number be? And what is it when we are bidding for new projects?
See, when we go for any new project, generally we go with the equity IRR 5%.
How much?
That is the PCL always goes.
Sorry, we lost you. Equity IRR of how much?
Not less than 12. 12 से ज़्यादा ही करते हैं. But 12 is the threshold limit, for bidding purpose.
Okay. So 8 years में payback हो जाएगा equity का. Is that what you mean? 8 years में?
Pardon?
So when you say equity IRR of not less than 12%, you are saying that in 8 years we'll recover our equity.
That what you are saying is correct.
Okay. And at a project IRR, what is the number?
Generally, we don't see the project IRR. We go with the equity because it depends with the debt component में आपने कितना rate of interest है, क्या है, all these things are there. But generally, project IRR थोड़ा कम ही होता है.
Got it. And the other thing was like, even if we go with this 1200 megawatts, commissioning 1200 megawatts, or sorry, 1500 megawatts, let's say round figure, that's ballpark, how much capex? 7,500 or little less than that? As on today.
It would be around 6,500 crore to 7,000 से ज़्यादा नहीं होगा.
Okay. In that case, so if it is going to be spread over 5 years, in which case 1,200 crores is the annual capex outlay, or maybe a little more because in the first 3 years you have to do half.
Yes, you're right.
So if you can give a sense that, when will this ordering start? Like, we know that your cash profit is like, ballpark 450 crores annually. So how much will be the capex, let's say FY22, FY23, if you have any sense on that? I understand it will be lumpy.
I can explain you. See, basically first requirement would be the RE park development. See, you have to do the RE park development activity initially. That activity takes place around 1 year down the line, and it will be having capital outlay of around 750 to 800 crore. Once the RE park is ready, then in next 2 years the process of the project will start. So initially in the first phase of the project also, capex would be less as compared to the last phase of the third year. Capex infusion would be on a higher side as compared to first 2 years. Okay. First 2 years it would be around 500 to 700 crore, and the last phase में बाकी का capex आएगा. That is the fundamental principle of project, RE project.
Understood. Okay, sir. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you, Pawan.
Hey, one more thing, sir. I just forgot. So you told me ballpark EBITDA of the fossil fuel plant is about 260 crores if I remove other income. Now this 190 crores, if I were to break it up, is it fair to say that ballpark, 100 from solar and 80 plus crores from, can you just break that up, the balance number, 190 crores of renewables?
Well, let me see, but generally we maintain the RE division separately.
Okay.
But it would be around 100, 190, not 100 or 105, 110 and 80 crore wind, you can say.
And gas would be making a small number. Got it. Thank you so much. All the best.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, one more question. Sorry. So on Surat, right? We will be under MAT, or what will be the tax for Surat, and how do we benefit on overall taxation because we are doing the renewables capex? I'm sure the company as a whole will benefit.
Now in the MAT only, and I think the available MAT credit will last up to 2032.
2000?
1 minute. Illa Sudhi se MAT. Hello?
So, yeah, please.
It would be around next 3-4 years, we would be in MAT. There be in the regular taxation.
Yeah, but then my question was like, so MAT is what you will bill SLPP to GUVNL, right? Now, because you are doing so much of renewables capex, is there an overall tax benefit to the company?
Basically, PPA governs with the provision of credit of MAT as well as the taxation. Even if we go with the 30% tax when it comes into picture, that taxation portion will be reimbursed by GUVNL as per the PPA. That is not an issue.
That I understand. Because आप renewables में capex कर रहे हो, will you, and it's all like in the standalone entity, would you be able to save on tax actually?
But now, MAT credit, whatever we do the capacity addition, as of now, I think it will last for 3-4 years only.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity once again. What is the capital cost of Rajan Sera Solar Park? And what are the kind of modules you are using? Have you targeted the Chinese supplier?
See, capex is around 500 crores with the DC capacity of 1.5. And I think modules are from China. Longest.
And so what is the capital cost? Can you come again, sir? I didn't hear you.
Total capex is 500 crores.
500 crore. Okay. And I think we have a capex plan of roughly around 1,600 megawatt, plus we have around 800 crore which will be required to develop this land. So my sense is the equity requirement will be around somewhere in the range of 1,800 crore to 2,000 crore. Do we have such amount with us? I don't think we have enough cash.
See, if you see the EBITDA, around 400 crore EBITDA we are generating every year. See, 400 crore, we add the depreciation, we are generating cash accrual of around 400 crore per year. If you add 5 years down the line, we will be having 2,000 crore available cash surplus to plow back in the project. Plus we have at present 400 crore cash in hand. So around 2,500 crore is not an issue to plow back in the project as a capex, capital infusion, internal accrual over a period of next 5 to 6 years.
Understood, sir. And how have we funded our current renewables? Have we taken any debt? And if we have, what is the amount of debt which we can ascribe to the renewables piece, and what is the debt which can be ascribed to the regulated power plants? And what is the regulated equity of the business?
See, basically all the stations are debt free except the renewable section, wherein we have taken the term loan for the renewable section, wind, solar, both the solars and wind, and around 400 crore is the debt portion, which is funded by the banks at around rate of interest of 6.55.
So how much the equity infused in this renewable power plant and in the lignite power plant and the mines?
Basically, we don't disclose all this, how the equity is being funded in the individual station. So we generally take the care of IRR of around 12%, more than 12% for each project. That is the fundamental which look into while investing in the project.
Okay, sir. What are the capital cost of all the renewable power plants, the solar and the wind, which are already under operation?
Solar 75 megawatts. What was the capex? 425 is the capex for 75 megawatts. 80 megawatt was around, I think 50 crore, 400 crore, 80 megawatt. And the wind was, if you take 6 crore, 6.49 into 112, it was around 725 crore.
And the debt is around 400 crore in all the assets. Am I right?
Yes.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anuj Upadhyay from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. So one clarification on this Khavda project. So in the previous question by one of the investors, you mentioned that 6,500 or 7,000 crore would be the capex for 15 to 100 megawatt of capacity which we plan to occur, right, sir? Okay. So how much we plan to do in the phase one, sir, over the next 2 to 3 years?
Basically, we have to do 50% capacity in the first 3 years.
So that comes to somewhere around 750 to 800 megawatt, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the development cost you mentioned around 800 odd crore, this is for the entire, both phase one and phase two, or it's only for phase one?
No, it is entire, total.
It's total, sir. So basically, sir, the development fees which we would be recovering from other developers could be to the tune of, say, 2 to 300 crores only, right? Because 2/3 of the capacity is something which we plan to develop in the plant. Of the 2,300 megawatt capacity, we intend to build up around 1,600 megawatt of capacity. Is my understanding correct, sir? So basically, of this 700-800 crores, the cost incurred, capex incurred for developing our own plant would be to the tune of 500 to 600 crores only.
So what you are saying is we will be recovering around 300 odd figure from the other developers.
From the other developers, right?
For the development charge, as a development charge.
Exactly. Okay, fine, sir. And so basically, sir, if I just want to look at the project IRR or do some project level of calculation, so would it be fair to consider the overall capex by adjusting this 500-400 megawatt of capacity as well? Say, for example, you mentioned that 1,500 megawatt would cost you around 6,500 to 7,000 crores, and half of that would be built over a period of initial 3 years, say 3,500 crores. So this includes the development cost we would be incurring?
No. 6,000 to 700 is only the project development cost. See, park development cost is separate.
हाँ सर, तो जैसे उसमें से 1,600 तो हम लोग करेंगे ना सर, फेज वन में 800 करेंगे, और आप बोल रहे हो कि जो डेवलपमेंट चार्ज था 800, वो उसमें से 500 वुड बी टुवर्ड्स आवर ओन प्रोजेक्ट, राइट सर? हाँ, तो जब आपने कैपेक्स बोला कि वुड बी अराउंड 6, मतलब ओवरऑल कैपेक्स विच कम समवेयर अराउंड 4.5 करोड़, दिस इंक्लूड डेवलपमेंट कॉस्ट एज वेल, राइट?
Yes.
Okay. And what sort of returns, sir, are we expecting from the the balance 300 odd crores which we'll be doing for the other developers?
See, as per the MNRE guideline, we will be putting less than 16% ROE in the park development phase. And the project development, we have to see the equity IRR of around 12% as per the present practice.
Right, sir. So both of that room to we have now, sir, for our own project, that we can enhance our project IRR by incorporating the development charge in our own project.
That is true. All these things we have to see to be competitive. That is the main purpose. You should be competitive enough to get the project.
Got it. And 16% you mentioned is the upper limit.
Yes.
Okay. The only thing I was wondering that as you mentioned that we are targeting a project IRR somewhere to the tune of 12 to 13%, and that would be applicable for other developers as well.
No, it's not like that.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. And another thing, sir, on the lignite side, what would be the exact extractable lignite capacity from our mine, sir? Or not capacity, but what quantum of lignite do we extract annually, sir, and what actually is the requirement of the plant?
See, basically 3 lakh requirement is the per month. So 36 to 37 lakh metric ton is the total requirement. So we are getting 32 to 34 lakh from the Walia mine and balance 4-5 lakh from our Western mine.
So, okay, so 32 and 4. So, mota 36 is what the annual requirement of SLPP 1 and 2 is, right, sir? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Sir, fair enough, sir. That's it from my end. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor and Company. Please go ahead.
Ji, धन्यवाद sir for the opportunity. Sir, if we take this cost of raw material consumed, sir, could you explain us the mix and what factors determine the price trends of the raw material consumed?
See, the raw material we are consuming having two kind of raw material. One is the lignite which we have our own mines, and second one is the gas which we are procuring from the GAIL and GSPC. These are the two raw materials we are using in the thermal stations.
Sir, I missed the last part. You told lignite we are self-sufficient. So then this cost escalation is
captive mine. Two mines are there. So it takes care of 36 to 37 lakh metric ton per year production, which is sufficient for running both the stations.
Hello.
See, we are extracted from two mines around 36 to 36 ton per year, which is sufficient for both the stations to run at 80% CLF.
Correct, sir. So these are only the royalties part that are played, the 600 crore. And sir, how has the amendment in the NMDR Act changed the math for us, if any?
600 crore, what is your question?
Sir, my question is then 600 crore is only the royalty part that goes into payment? What constitutes the 600? If when we are owning the mines, it is only the royalty and the cost to excavate that we are debiting?
See, mining is right we have the stripping ratio. You have to remove overburden up to 10:1, 12:1, depending upon the availability of lignite. We have to remove the overburden that costs us. There are so many other costs also. This mining restoration costs are there. Lignite OB removal cost is there. Then the lignite removal cost is there. Then the lignite has to be transported to the power station. Then again lignite has to be rehandling of the lignite is there.
So sir, is it through the MDO route or we are managing the same totally, or how efficient would an MDO route work, sir? And how
is managing our own mines? This is our captive mine. So cost of lignite is below around 1,000 rupees per metric ton, which is far cheaper than the market rate.
And sir, what has been the impact of the revisions in the NMDR Act, sir, of the mining? How has our payment of royalty changed, if any, sir? That has been applicable to us also for on lignite?
No, it is not applicable to us.
Oh, okay, so there is no change as such, sir.
See, my right for the mining is for the captive requirement.
Correct,
I
correct,
cannot
right.
sell it outside. I have to supply to the power station. With that understanding, GOG has given me the right of lignite.
Right.
Thank you. We would request the current participant to please come back in the question queue. The next question is from the line of Falguni Datta from Jet Aegis Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Fine. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, sir. Sir, two questions. One is on this lignite pricing. So, is it done? How is this lignite pricing done? Is it cost plus basis or is it based on prevailing coal prices or some linkage to the index?
It is cost plus in line with the PPA only.
Okay.
And cost is very, very better as compared to the market lignite price.
So when you mentioned that 1 year we had a credit, so why would that credit be? I mean, last year
in
when...
a particular year, if your cost of production, whatever you have summed up, if it is, suppose last year it was 1,000 rupees, and this year it has worked out 980 rupees, so I have to cost plus basis, I have to pay back 20 rupees.
So
Suppose
this is...
it goes in the current year 1,200, then I have to bill 200 rupees. It is like that. So cost plus basis, you have to bill on actual only.
This is cost plus. Okay, understood. So, and the second question is on this solar. What is the depreciation and interest for this year only on the solar account?
Depreciation total, rupee depreciation, what has been charged to the P&L for solar, you want to understand?
Thank you. Due to time constraints, we take the last question from the line of Dhruvesh Sanghvi from Prosperity. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Sir, two questions. One, you said that we have our cash flows as around 400 crores per year. Now, assuming, because the timelines for the new big solar plant or project is not yet completed, can we see from our existing solar 100 megawatt plant which is coming up, do we see that this 400 crore will reach to what level in the next 1 to 2 years? Any thoughts around this? I mean, some ballpark number on EBITDA level or cash level versus today, say 1-1.5 साल में ये कहाँ पहुँचेगा?
See, EBITDA level of EBITDA level will go up by around 50 crore in this by capex addition of this 100 megawatts in the next financial year.
Right. And in this 400 crores, we are also assuming that FY21 में हमारा थोड़ा downturn था because of lower requirements and a bit of operational issues. So ये सब correct होके in total for the company, including the renewables and fossil, does this mean that this 400 can go to 500 or नहीं, ये 450 से ऊपर जाना मुश्किल है?
Basically, if you look at the PPA-based thermal station, EBITDA level, what I have told, this EBITDA level is not going to be at a very high level or lower level. It will remain at the same level because we are recovering cost plus basis. So it is a regular product. So basically, as per PPA, EBITDA level will always remain the same. If at all depreciation suppose goes down or the interest what I am incurring after the repayment of the term loan, which I am not supposed to recover from the sales as a part of this. These are all the cost plus mechanisms. So EBITDA level will always remain at the same threshold level, what I have told for the thermal station.
Fine. Sir, the second piece is, when do you sense, I mean, it is based upon your estimation or आपके thinking के हिसाब से, कि when do you sense the first money will be spent, the first 50 crore or 100 crore will be spent towards this new 2000, the new solar project that we are talking, I mean, आज से 6 महीने बाद हमारा first level money spend होना शुरू होगा या इधर से भी 2 साल लग सकता है? What is your estimation on that?
Already we have spent around 25 to 30 crore on the project towards the land acquisition.
Okay.
And the land file testing and other tenders have already been floated as per the requirement, initial requirement. So all the activities have already started. The initial advance would be around 10 to 12 crore. We have already paid to the contractors for initiation of the work at the site.
Sir, but in the next 1 year, will we see significant work towards this? Why I am asking this? क्योंकि government projects में काफी time समझ में नहीं आता है कि risk और अड़चने कहाँ आके अटक जाएगा सब. So it becomes very difficult from a timeline perspective to imagine for us as investors. तो ये डायरेक्शन में मैं पूछ रहा हूँ.
Timeline, we are also targeting 1 year down the line. Solar park at least will be ready, but looking at the difficulties and terrain of the region, we are of the opinion some grace period may be granted by the government in coming days. It seems so.
Sir, one more thing. On upfront investment, we will get the central finance assistance also for the park development. So that will also start receiving once we start the project activity. And for example, if we start building a pooling substation, then some portion of the MNRE subsidy as a CFA assistant we may receive. So like this, our receivable may start, sir, for the park development.
Fair enough, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was the last question. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you all the investors for having a phone call. First time we had it this time, and we will continue this process of con call every 6 months when the results will be there, and we will discuss on the development front as well as the performance front of the company. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of ICICI Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.